Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Alex. Welcome to another episode of the Long 2 NBA podcast. I believe this is episode number 35. Today I'm with Nathan and Seth.
What's up?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
I told Nathan to lean in when he talks, and that was a little exaggerated. But we got some interesting stuff to talk about today. Some stuff is more off-court, but it's important. So let's just start with the injuries. Brandon Ingram is expected to make a full recovery after the successful surgery. He had that blood clot in his arm, if y'all remember. But that's good news. I mean, he's just going to average 17 points per game when he comes back, but I'm sorry, that was
Dang.
that was mean. No, I mean, he's got the potential to be good. It's just I don't think he has the work ethic that some guys have.
Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Andrew Wiggins, but I'll give him credit. He was doing pretty well before he got injured. So
even after the All-Star break, he was doing well.
Yeah, so I was just making the joke, but that's good that he's going to be okay, because that was a serious kind of injury. It was something similar to Markelle Fultz. It was thoracic outlet surgery or something like that to remove the clot or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that Markelle had has some kind of thoracic outlet syndrome thing too. So I guess they're kind of similar things.
There goes his trade value, though.
Yeah, and then this is a big one. Malcolm Brogdon had a tear in his foot. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, and the playoffs start in less than a month, so he's going to miss at least the first round and maybe the second round, depending, when he returns. They're optimistic that he's going to come back around the 6-week mark, so he'll only miss maybe the first. Well, either way, he's going to miss the first, maybe second round. So
yeah, but it's a plantar fascia tear.
Yeah,
and I don't know if some people who watch football, but Peyton Manning during their whole Super Bowl run in Denver had the same kind of plantar fascia tear. And,
I've heard that before, plantar fascia.
And he said it kind of lingered with him the whole season.
Really?
So that might be something to look out for.
Yeah. Did they rush him back, though?
They did.
Okay, so that's probably why.
Yeah, you're right.
No, but that's a big injury for the Bucks, because he's just an all-around skilled, good player. I mean, he's not, really great at one thing. I mean, he's very efficient, but he's just all-around a good player, and on both ends.
You know his nickname is the President because he's super well spoken.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I've heard.
That's what his teammates say. About
That's funny. I've heard him on the jump before doing interviews, and he is very kind of precise with what he says, if that makes sense. He's
a smart player, and that's important.
Yeah, so that sucks. I mean, nobody off the bench can really cover that void, but they're still a deep enough team to where they'll still be able to get maybe advance.
It doesn't seem like they're going to fall apart.
Yeah, they'll still probably sweep a first-round series, whether they play the Magic or the Heat. And I don't know if probably the Heat, yeah. But once you get to the second round, if you play Sixers or Boston, that's going to hurt you a lot.
And it's reevaluated in 6 weeks.
It's not coming back in 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this might be the thing that prevents them from getting to the East Finals or potentially the Finals. Yeah. I mean, this is a big injury. A lot of people don't know that, casual fans. Yeah. But this could, if he's not back in time for the Eastern Conference Finals or second round, this could be the thing that prevents them from getting there.
Arguably their third best player.
Arguably, yeah. So that sucks, but we'll see what happens. Let's see. CJ McCollum last night, left knee strain. He's going to be reevaluated in just 1 week. And they avoided serious injury. And that's really good news for the Blazers, because they're in contention to have home court, maybe even all the way up to the 3 seed. And if Denver slips, Rockets and them and OKC, all those, anywhere from not Golden State, the seedings are going to be flipped by the end of this. They won't, I'm not saying they will be, but they can be switched all around by the time the season's ending. So yeah, that's good news for them that he's only going to, well, that's, again, like you said, that's only reevaluated in 1 week, but still, that's better than some tear and being out 6 to 8. So that's good news for them, so we'll see. All right, but that's it for the injuries. Now let's get into the good stuff. So playoffs are less than a month away. What are we expecting down the stretch?
Standings to be somewhat the same.
You think
Spurs to remain an annoyance in the playoff race?
They're, what are they, 6th?
Something around there. They always float around there. No matter what, the roster completely changes, and
they're still in contention, right?
They're on fire.
They have won 8 in a row, I think, right? They beat Portland last night, which was a good win, home win.
Yeah.
I'm expecting.
Bucks, they beat the Bucks during the streak.
Yeah, I think everybody who's in the playoffs right now, who's in the standings 1 through 8 in both conferences, is going to be in it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of where they end up. I think the bottom 2 in the East are probably going to stay the same. But as for the West, I think 2 through 8 can be all flipped around by the end, because they've all got not super difficult schedules, but mostly games they should win. So you're right, they might stay roughly the same.
Yeah.
But as we just saw last night, who lost to who or just recently? Somebody lost to somebody that should have been a win.
Thunder, was it the Thunder game where they lost to the?
I know the Warriors lost to the Suns.
Yeah.
But they're still the 1 seed. There was a game, I can't remember exactly, but teams lost winnable games. Like the Nuggets almost lost to the Pacers last night. It took a game winner from Millsap for them to win. Jokic got ejected that game, like right at the end of the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
But
oh man, OKC's actually in big trouble. I just
really?
saw they're on
what's their schedule?
They're they have a tough schedule, but they're 1 game up on the Spurs, just 1 game, and the Spurs have the tiebreaker.
Okay, and they just lost to the
Thunder.
I'm tripping. Sorry. They just lost to the Warriors last night.
And they lost to, I'm trying to remember. It was a bad loss. Pacers. They lost to the Pacers.
Lost to the Pacers. That's right.
And the Jazz are a game and a half behind. And Russ is going to get suspended next.
Because the 16th technical, right? That's tough.
That's not. Hey, man.
You can't afford to get 16 techs in a season. No. And then he's doing this stuff where he'll like, you saw the stupid fouls last night where he wasn't getting calls that, I mean, they can go either way, and then he was fouling on purpose, and it's just compounding the error, making it worse. Yeah. Because you're like, I think Mike said on the call, is like, or maybe it was Jeff saying, you're getting closer to the bonus, you're just giving them another trip, like, you're not helping anything. Like, I get maybe you're trying to prove a point to the refs, but still you're upping your personal foul count, getting your team closer to the bonus, or their team closer to the bonus. And it's just like, you're not helping in any way by doing that. But
it's just like, you never know if you can make a run late in the game.
Yeah,
you don't
right?
just implode.
Right, that's what they did. I mean, the Warriors have sent out a message recently. Like, they kind of started to slide, so it seemed. Yeah. But they won. They beat the Rockets and the Thunder without KD, right?
They did.
Yeah, that's tough. So
they did big wins.
And you were saying that you think they're better without Kevin Durant?
I think they function better as a team without him.
You can make that argument.
But I think it won't be noticeable because they have so much star power that they'll be winning either way. Yeah. It's just maybe the way they'll be winning is a little bit different. Yeah.
See, I don't think they're better without him because he's one of the best offensive players ever.
Yeah.
So he definitely helps, puts them over the top. But if they had a deep bench, talk about the 15-16 team, deep benches and a couple stars, that's still just as good as this team. If you replace Kevin Durant with a great bench, I would think. They kind of cancel each other out a little bit.
They just kind of keep Iguodala, Livingston, and then just pick somebody for each year. They just kind of shuffle it.
Yeah.
They don't keep it very consistent as far as depth, except for those 2 guys, Iguodala and
Livingston.
Yeah, Livingston.
Yeah, we mentioned it on the last podcast that they've axed their bench like year after year ever since signing Kevin Durant.
Yeah. And if they found Quinn Cook, he's been decent for
he fell off a lot since last year.
I haven't heard much from him.
Yeah.
But Jordan Bell too, right?
Yeah, kind of.
2 guys last year.
But they also just haven't really gotten the playing time that they did, as much as they did last year at least.
Mm-hmm. What's his name? McKinney? He's getting some run.
Yeah, he's all right. Solid player.
Looney was a solid starting five for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to be as solid as he was.
See, this is the thing about the Warriors that doesn't make it fun for me to watch them as much anymore. Is I liked watching Steph Curry when he was option 1 alpha on the team.
Yeah, Clay option 2.
And he shot 20 to 30 shots a game and still made over half of them.
Yeah.
Or around half of them. And now it's just like, I wish I could see that more often. Like, I want Steph to shoot more and be more aggressive, because that's what I like. He's one of my favorite players to watch when he's in that mode. And then he's not really in that mode because of DeMarcus Cousins and Kevin Durant. I don't think it's Clay or Draymond, obviously, because Clay has been part of the system forever, so is Draymond. But then you add KD and Boogie, and they take a lot of shots away. And I don't know. I don't like seeing Boogie take it coast to coast and try to finish because he doesn't finish them all the time.
To me, it just doesn't make sense why Steph would want, like, it's
because he's so unselfish. It's almost to a fault.
You're
sometimes.
good enough. Like, your team is good enough without these two guys. Like, okay, I know you can't fault him. If Kevin Durant wants to come play with you, fine. But it's like, he definitely could have said, like, I don't know, I like our team. Let's run it back.
Yeah, but he is that unselfish, and he's willing to
true.
sacrifice his, time and
his touches and stuff.
Yeah, just his shine in general.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about him is. One of the things that's so great about him is that he's so unselfish. But
and the whole Warriors system works around being unselfish, moving the ball.
Exactly.
Kind of like the Spurs, but a bit more updated with a lot of threes.
Yeah, but from a fan standpoint, obviously, like, I personally want Clay, or not Clay. I want Boogie and KD to leave, which I'm sure they both will, just so that I can see more years of prime Alpha Curry, if that makes sense.
He was the best player in the NBA
when he was the guy.
Yeah, during their run.
He was that dude.
Yeah.
I want him to go back to that. I think he's got at least another 2 years of that left in him because he just turned 31, and he'll be 33 after 2 more years. So I think then we might start to see a decline of not shooting percentages or ability to make shots, but I think as far as like speed and some of his athleticism.
What's Steph Curry gonna look like with wrinkles? He's a baby face.
He's gonna look like.
I mean, black don't crack, 50. So he might not have any wrinkles.
Right? Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
How long do you think he's gonna play for? How long do you think he can stay healthy? Because he's had ankle problems in the past.
To me, that shot is going to be lethal until he retires. And
people say shots don't change. Well, like Melo happened. We saw it happen.
Right. Well, Melo was never ever the most efficient scorer or shot maker.
That's true as well. But
he was a lot better than he was now.
That's true. Yeah. But that's also just comes with a bad fit. He was the guy when he was the first option, and he was after that. What we saw last year.
To be the guy anymore.
Yeah,
and his defense was terrible.
Yeah, that's also true. So
I'd give him 7 years until he retires.
Curry? 38, yeah. I mean, I don't think he'll play into his 40s just because what else do you have left to accomplish, I mean, at that point, you're just kind of taxing your body a little bit going through the 82 games. But, yeah, I'd say you're probably right. 7 more years, but I'd say at least 2 or 3 more prime years. And then he'll start to drop off. But if he's even on the Warriors by the end of his career, which I don't know why he would leave, but because he'll probably have won 4 or 5 rings by then. At least 3 because we've seen him. But even if he's on just some other contender and he's coming off the bench as a 37-year-old, knockdown 3-point shooter, that's going to be lethal for whatever team he's on until the time he retires, in my opinion. Because he's not going to be able to create his shots at 36 years old, 35 maybe. I mean, MJ did it, but he's Michael Jordan,
He's 6'6".
Yeah. We'll see what happens. That's definitely an interesting thing to look out for. But by then, I mean, the young stars of the league today are going to be the superstars by that time. So we'll see what happens. All right. We kind of sidetracked there, but let's talk about Kyrie Irving and how he's handled the media and his leadership. He apologized for the way he did all that and his lack of leadership. And ever since then, and even before then, they look like they like each other and like they actually are playing together and as a team. And they've had some really good wins ever since that West Coast trip they took when they played the Kings and the Warriors.
And the Clippers.
Winning really heals a lot.
Yes, it does. But they actually really look like a team now and kind of what I expected them to look like, at the start of the season.
Because I don't think anybody expected that Warriors blowout not long ago.
No. And that was a good win against the Kings. With the Gordon Hayward game winner.
That one as well.
Yeah, that was without Kyrie, too. And that's a hungry, scrappy Kings team who will probably be in the playoffs before too long. Not this year, but maybe next year or the year after. Depends who falls off or whatever. But yeah, I mean, they've just been playing really good basketball. They got blown out by the Clippers, but they got down early and then they just matched baskets for pretty much the rest of the game, so they never got any real ground. But still, who else did they beat recently? There was the game against the Warriors. There was the Kings. There was A couple other good wins I can't think of off the top of my head, but they beat Atlanta yesterday, which is a young, scrappy team, sort of. I can't remember who else they've beaten, but it's just I'm trying to pull it out of my head and it's not working right now. So
I think you got the right timeline. It was like Warriors, and then they beat. I think they lost to the Clippers.
Yeah, they lost to the Clippers,
and then they won 2.
I'm gonna look up their.
They're on the right track.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna look up their schedule real quick,
Yeah.
just so I can see who they've beaten recently, because I know there's some quality wins there. They beat the Lakers, the Kings, the Warriors. Yeah, that was really it. Those are the quality ones. And then they beat Sacramento again, and Atlanta again, and then they play the Nuggets tomorrow.
Big game.
Sixers on Wednesday, so.
But
But then the rest of their schedule is pretty damn easy, so I wouldn't be surprised if they.
Spurs ain't easy.
I'm saying mostly. You got Cleveland, Miami,
Scrappy.
Indiana,
Those are
Orlando.
all playoff teams. Below it, except Orlando and Washington.
I'm just saying for the most part. For
I'd
the
say
most
it's
part.
average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the hardest ones on there are going to be Denver, Sixers, Spurs. That's really it. Miami and Brooklyn are kind of in Washington and Orlando. Those are the lower tier.
But Brooklyn, man, you never know with them.
Yeah, Brooklyn's good. They've kind of slipped lately, but still.
They'll dance on you all night on the bench.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to read these quotes from Kyrie, and I want y'all to let me know what you think about them.
Okay.
So, he says, the way I've handled things, it hasn't been perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes that I take full responsibility for. I apologize. I haven't done it perfectly. I haven't said the right things all the time. I don't want to sit in a place like I'm on a pedestal from anybody. He speaks so weirdly. I'm a normal human being that makes mistakes. For me, I think because of how fixated I was on trying to prove other people wrong, I got into a lot of habits that were bad, like reading stuff and reacting emotionally. That's just not who I am. But you did it, though. It said, being one of the top guys in this league, this all comes with it. Talking about the media and stuff.
Right. I think someone had to set him straight for a minute.
Right. It's a
Y'all think
responsibility.
LeBron was like, "Hey, man,
This is what comes with the territory, maybe. Yeah. It's a responsibility that I have to make sure that I know who I'm doing this for and why I'm doing this. It's for the players that are coming behind me who will be in this league and setting an example for them on how to handle things
Good
and how to
point.
evolve within your career." So yeah, that's basically it. What do y'all think? Do you think this is good for them? I mean, it looks like it has been.
I mean, yeah, that can't be bad for him. He took ownership of what's been happening.
Yeah. I still trust them to get to the finals more than I trust other teams just based off experience, how much experience most of the roster has. And plus they have Kyrie Irving, who I think is the guy who you want in a playoff game. Like if you could pick, like there's a handful of guys that you want down the stretch of a playoff game, and he's one of those top guys in my opinion.
Can he do it for a whole series though?
Yes.
He's not proving it. Not with his own team.
I think we're going to see it this year. You and I had this conversation earlier today. I think
we haven't seen him in the playoffs really.
Not since 2017.
Yeah.
And every time he's been in the playoffs, he's been electric. Like playoffs is his time. And, in those games that feel like playoff games, he's taken over down the stretch. I can think of a couple examples versus like the Raptors and Sixers this year, where he was just lights out down the stretch of games. But yeah, I mean, I think when this year's playoffs comes, assuming he's healthy, barring any injury, I think we're going to see him do his thing in the playoffs with his own team. Because I've seen it in games during the regular season, but I know it's a different animal. But if anybody's built for the big moment, it's Kyrie Irving. Oh, that was a bad voice crack. It's Kyrie Irving. That was really bad. I'm sorry, folks.
No, you're fine. You're doing most of the talking. It was bound to happen.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's all I really got on that. You guys got anything else?
I just think, this is a step forward. When he was, lashing out at media, that was a step backwards.
Yes, absolutely.
And so
it's definitely beneficial to the
good
team.
move for him. I'm glad he's taking ownership of, him being a bit childish,
At times.
And
I think
don't know, that just shows maturity.
Yeah, I think that's good for his
Even
teammates.
if he doesn't believe what he's saying,
I'm sure he does.
Just going out and saying that, takes some responsibility.
Yeah.
I think it's more to me about just getting rid of the distractions. Also, the whole Kyrie
Right.
versus the media feud.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Let's put this to rest.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So they can focus on the playoffs.
And he has been a little more cordial towards the media ever since this.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
And
Smart. It's really smart.
Yeah.
Even if even if he believes it or not, which, I mean, the sudden, he's been doing this the whole season, but all of a sudden, but it's smart that he handled it this way. I think it was a great
I think it's
idea.
good for his teammates to hear.
Absolutely.
Because that kind of brings you together. It's
Yeah.
like you start to kind of recognize if somebody comes out and recognizes that they were in the wrong this whole time,
Mhm.
and his teammates kind of know that he's been wilding,
Mhm.
but they haven't said anything to him. For him to recognize that, and then it kind of brings them all together, and that translates off the court and on the court.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get into some of the more, I guess you could say, political stuff. So let's talk about James Dolan. He bans a fan from Madison Square Garden after the fan yells "sell the team" at him.
Well, I think it's different because it's like he didn't just ban him. He said you're gonna like watching it from the TV.
Yeah, and then he's like profile that guy or whatever. Like he told his
right.
He
That
told
was
security.
such like a rich douche thing to do.
Yeah, right. Like shout out Jalen and Jacoby. Soft move or boss move?
Soft move.
This is
Soft
definitely a
move.
soft move.
Yeah.
You think
Soft,
so? Soft. I mean,
Mm-mm.
as an owner of a
Soft.
team and kind of a somewhat celebrity, I guess you could say, you're a billionaire, right?
Yeah.
You got to be able to take some criticism.
Right.
And just even a
You'd
light-
think
a light-
after
a light
getting
little
to the
troll,
top of
yeah.
like,
He makes music.
He does?
Yeah,
Okay.
he does.
But you got to think this kind of stuff. You got to be
why do you
built
know?
for.
Why do you know?
Does he
Because-
actually?
Yeah, because I think it was either last year or a couple of years ago, The Jump ran this clip
Uh-huh.
of him and his
No.
like band.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think they're more like a country to.
Did he ban the Jump Crew from MSG for that?
Did he ban high top sneakers?
Oh my god.
Hey, but I just thought it's pretty funny. Like you would have never guessed the owner of
Yeah.
the Knicks. Like,
That's pretty funny.
sings.
Right.
It's
Did you
crazy.
see the Pacers and Knicks game the other day where somebody was at the free throw line? I think it was Dennis Smith, and the Pacers crowd started chanting "Sell the team."
Yeah.
And I was like,
I was so happy they did
yeah,
that.
I tweeted. I was like, James Dolan is somewhere banning every resident of Indiana from MSG. Like, no, this
He's
is
got
this
the
is
NYPD
Yeah,
entering
and
all this.
he was
this
saying
is the softest move I've seen.
right. He said he was getting ambushed, and there's literally video.
I was
evidence.
ambushed. It was like, hey, dude, I
Sell
don't
the-
like the way you're handling this franchise.
Yeah.
Banned.
Yeah, right?
There was and no one else was talking to him. It was just one guy.
Yeah, this is incredibly thin skin.
Yeah.
Like, if you get that upset over something, that someone's just trolling you, it's just like, haha, loser.
See, and this
like-
is what happens. It expands it. You by retaliating, you just made it so much bigger.
right, and now you're asking for people to go out and say stuff about you and troll you even more. Like they saw how big of a puss you were handling that, so now people are just gonna come at you even worse.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I saw something today on Twitter. It was the Lakers and Knicks game this morning, and they were wearing shirts that said St. Patty says sell the team, and those fans wearing the shirts got ejected.
Really?
They took the shirts and told them they couldn't stay at the game. That's
lame.
That's what Knicks security did.
That's so. Lame.
So it's so soft. Like you, come on, man. It's so stupid to me. All right, let's talk about Russell Westbrook and the Utah fans. This dates back to last year's playoffs. Remember, he smacked that dude's phone out of his hand, and then he was kind of like yelling at people to sit down after Game 6 when he was going towards the visitors' locker room, and confetti was falling on him in a loss
Yeah.
and defeat. And he was getting pissed at fans because, rightfully so, they were saying some pretty messed up stuff about him. I mean, it goes... I've got a lot of thoughts on this, so I'll just kind of tell you guys what I think. I think the NBA did a great job handling the situation, and so did
Westbrook didn't need to say that, but neither did the fan.
Yeah,
the fan was the one who caused all the.
before we get into that, we'll kind of go over it. So
Okay.
what happened was he was on the bench. A fan starts yelling what he claimed was nothing, like saying ice your knees or whatever.
Right.
And it was like, it's heat, And he was like, good, you're going to need it or something. And then he said it got not safe for work after that. And it's like, dude, you're lying through your teeth on this interview.
Right.
Because all his teammates vouched for him, even other fans in the arena vouched for Russell Westbrook.
A veteran,
saying,
Raymond Felton.
Saying that the fans were saying racial stuff, stuff about his family, his wife, his kids.
Raymond Felton, and he came out and made a statement that was really good because I'm sure he's experienced this his whole career.
Yeah.
And like it's just now being spoken about.
Yeah.
With certain areas. It's not just Utah.
No, it's a
Boston.
lot of places. Yeah. There's a lot. Like Mike Breen, I was listening to a podcast, B-Ball Breakdowns, Coach Nick's podcast. Mike Breen was saying he's heard some unbelievable nasty things said at players because he's courtside broadcasting the game and he's heard like terrible things said about players and their families. But to me, that fan deserved to be banned from the Jazz games. To me, it should be any NBA event he should be banned from, and any fan who does that, I think, should be. Yeah. And it's on it's on arena security to be able to recognize, like, you're not going to be able to get them all, right? But you can at least.
If it's a group, it's like you can't just arrest like 8 people.
I mean, if the security needs to be watching out for problem fans, and if they see them, there shouldn't be like a warning card or whatever. It should be immediate ejection. Like, you need to have a no tolerance policy when it comes to this kind of stuff, because those are the type of fans to me that aren't real fans, and they just ruin it for everybody else who's trying to enjoy it, and they're just a general nuisance and not good people. Because you wouldn't say that to their face. I mean, it's almost the same as being behind a phone screen typing a message at somebody, because they're down there, they can't do anything other than respond back, but you're just a nuisance and a problem fan at that point.
I don't know, Meta World Peace got up there.
Well, yeah, that's true. That was like courtside though. Like this is what it brings back memories of, is Malice of the Palace, and like I just
cutting
think
it off before it gets to that point is very important.
And I think in order to keep players and fans safe, there just has to be a zero tolerance policy for this kind of stuff.
Right, and so, like you said, I think they did the right thing.
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
Both sides.
The Jazz owner even said, we are not a community that supports this kind of behavior, and it won't be from now on. It's just like, this shouldn't just now be happening.
Right.
This should have happened years and years ago. Fans getting
especially
thrown
at
out
the
for this kind of
playoffs
stuff.
last year.
Yeah. Oh, they did ban a guy from resurfaced video from that playoff series. They did do that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well,
I think
I'm saying like at that time.
Oh,
there's
like
obviously stuff going on.
It should have been
needed to be
investigated at
addressed.
that point for sure. But it's not just Utah. It just happens that both incidences, recent ones that have gotten national media coverage, have happened in Utah.
I just think it's
but
funny
it's
that
everywhere.
Like, Westbrook said, and your wife. He said equal rights and lefts.
Oh yeah. This is also the other point I wanted to make. Nobody was in the right here. The fans shouldn't have said that to Westbrook, and Westbrook shouldn't have retaliated the way he did. But
I understand
there's a
defending
line.
yourself.
Yeah, there's a fine line between like being funny and troll things. Like like the example I always think of is someone yelling at Harden, "Your beard is weird," or telling Anthony Davis, shave your unibrow or something like that.
Right.
Or,
That's just dumb stuff.
Telling James Dolan to sell the team. It's just funny little troll stuff. Or like, hey, Kyrie, where's LeBron? It's just little funny things to heckle. That doesn't cross the line.
Kyrie, where's LeBron is kind of, it's on the line.
It doesn't cross the line. Like, to me,
like, what do you think is going to get under his skin the most after he leaves the team to go win a championship by himself, to prove himself, and then when he loses, I just think that was like,
I get it. But
I understand why Kyrie Irving.
I said suck my dick or whatever, but it's like that's not crossing the line to me. To me, crossing the line is where it becomes personal and about their family and their kids and whatever else. I mean,
you talk about
about race and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like you don't cross that line.
I feel like that's how it is for a lot of people.
Right. I mean,
you wouldn't say that to him if you were both in the stands.
No, absolutely not. That's what I was saying. You wouldn't say it to their face. I mean, something's got to change.
Westbrook should be like, come on the court and say that.
Yeah. He's like, I promise you on everything I love. I'm
everything I love.
I'm going to F you up. That's what he said. But yeah, this is a lose-lose situation for everybody. Nobody was in the right, but I'm glad that the NBA and arenas are starting to monitor it more closely and have as close to a zero tolerance, if not zero tolerance policy for this kind of stuff, because this kind of stuff doesn't belong in the NBA game.
Absolutely not.
Like, the game of basketball is too much fun to have people like ruin it for you. Like it ruins it for the players and it ruins it for other fans if you're being a nuisance. That's my opinion. So I went to a Hawks game and when they played the Bulls a couple weeks ago.
Oh, you're talking about
the quadruple overtime game, and there were some Bulls fans sitting behind us, and during introductions, John Collins gets introduced, and there's like, oh, there's Collins bum ass, and then Trae Young comes out, and there's like, there's Trae's punk ass. And they're
it's
just,
like, what?
They're just like, they're going boo, boo on every single time.
Bro, you're on home turf. Someone's gonna run a family.
Yeah, and then some lady like sitting near us was like, "You're making very poor decisions right now." And they were just yelling shit.
Wait, who was it that said that?
A lady near us. It was a Bulls fan behind us who was yelling stuff.
Yeah,
and then
I never think like some fans represent a whole fan base.
Right.
I understand.
Yeah. It's just
they're just crappy people.
Yeah,
who happen to be crappy fans.
Exactly. So we ended up moving seats down farther away from them, so we didn't have to deal with that the whole game. Right. Like it was during introductions. I was like, I went and threw away my water bottle that I had finished drinking, and I told my mom, I was like, come on, I'm not sitting behind these fuckers. Like, let's go down there. So we did, but there's problem fans everywhere. I mean, I think most people are kind of civil and won't be a problem, but then you have those group of people at every game who think they can say whatever just because they paid for the seat or whatever. Right. It's like, that doesn't give you, like, just because you paid for the tickets and the seat doesn't give you the right to say whatever you want to people, or be a distraction or problem to the other fans trying to enjoy the game.
I think drinking has a lot to do with these interactions.
Yeah, that's true.
I really do think, like, some people, like, pregame coming to the arena messed up.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to talk-ish to Russell Westbrook.
Right.
Like, what? That's the only thought process I can think of that happening. How could you do that sober, like, regular? I can't understand.
Couldn't be me, right?
Right.
That type of thing. Couldn't be me, sucker. Yeah, I hate all of it. I mean, I hope that there is a zero tolerance, no warning policy. That'll fix a lot of problems to me. You've been quiet. What do you think?
No, I mean, I agree. I don't get why you pay for a game just to go heckle.
Yeah, right? Like, sit down and enjoy the game. I feel like
people want to feel important and, like, a part of something that's like, oh, I'm talking to a celebrity. Yeah, and you're being a dick.
Yeah, like, I would be like, if it's somebody I like, I love you, Russ, I love you, or whatever, or like, go kill, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's cringy to try to say something complimentary at the same time. Right. So just sit down and enjoy the game.
Just
cheer.
Yeah.
Watch your favorite players. Or like when they come by, like, yell their name, like, Russ, like, wave at them or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of weird to give compliments while they're walking by. Like, good game. Like, you could say good game or something.
Good bank shot. Good form.
That would be a funny troll.
Yeah.
Is to be
that would be funny.
Sarcastically
like
yell good form. See, it's funny stuff like that. That's okay to me, but when it crosses the line, that's when I have an issue with it. Because I don't mind funny little heckles or trolls. I just don't like.
Release on your way up.
Fix your jumper. Just anything.
Follow through.
Or just yell wet when they shoot it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just little distractions. I don't know.
Rain dance.
Rain dance. That's hilarious. Let's see. That's kind of all the topics I have for today. I think I got what I wanted to say. You guys have anything else?
No, just don't be a shitty fan.
Really.
That's all you really need to know.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's not hard. Just be a decent person.
Just cheer, boo when they're at the free throw line, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, cheer or boo, one of the two. But still, I think funny little heckles are great, because as long as it doesn't cross the line, I think it's funny. There's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion. Yeah. But when you, like, I wouldn't say do it the entire game, because that's distracting to other people trying to enjoy the game. But a little subtle jab here and there, that's fine. Yeah. When we were watching another game, when they were playing the Suns, the Hawks were playing the Suns, I was telling my mom, like, who has been traded and whatnot. And the Hawks have this section of fans that will chant stuff when opponents are at the line. And they were chanting, like, you got traded at Tyler Johnson.
Dang.
Because he got traded from the Heat to the Suns, remember? And they were just chanting, you got traded. And then when Kelly Oubre was at the line, they chanted John Wall hates you at him.
Dang.
So There's that whole section of Hawks fans that cheer some every game. They're like season ticket
Indiana's
holders.
savage too.
Yeah, Indiana is too. I remember Utah was chanting "push off P" at Paul George last year after he pushed off on Ingles and got called for an offensive foul because he referred to himself as playoff P in a post-game interview, and then they started calling him push off P later on in the series. So that was pretty funny. You guys got anything else? I kind of knew this would be a shorter episode.
No.
You got anything?
No, I think we hit it.
All right, that's going to be it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe for more, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.